more people. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so welcome everyone to another chamber conference call today. It's very interesting because we're turning the tables here, and today I will be facilitating our lovely webinar to navigate government funding programs. Anthony is still on the line here, but today I'm excited to, just help you guys facilitate. So without further ado, I'm just going to go through our agenda. We're going to go through if we have any summary updates from any partners, if they would like to pop on. No one has stated anything, but I'll give that space if any partner wants to hop on to share. And then we're going to walk through some government programs, which Eric is going to walk through. And then Eli from Community Futures is going to talk about another program that they're offering to support businesses. And then finally, we're going to wrap up with an exciting announcement of our next webinar that about this Get in the Loop app that many small businesses are using, which is a nifty technology tool. And finally, it's a nice thing to conclude on. So we might not even take the whole 45 minutes, and let's get started. So first of all, let's talk about who our chamber is, of course. We have been giving a lot of conference calls, but we want to approach to you guys with some of the services that we provide. So we support and advocate for members. We try to get our seats at the tables, which is why we're here to really listen and learn about what you want to advocate to hear discussions on. We also have a networking base here. You've heard of our luncheons, and you heard of our weekly calls, and we're here to connect. So if you guys want to connect with anyone, have any questions, feel free to voice that out or put that in the chat box. We communicate our news through our website, social media, and our newsletters. We also help with businesses in terms of supporting them in scaling up and growing as well, which is why we have our webinar today. And finally, we have our youth empowerment. I also do want to formally introduce myself. My name is Janet, and I am the business project coordinator. And not only do I work with the Chamber of Commerce, this is also in a partnership with EcoTrust Canada, which is a nonprofit that really has a presence here in Prince Rupert that strives to support the local economy as well as their other little projects that they'll share soon with a lot of different projects to come out soon. But yeah. Anywho, but we're going to keep it chamber focused for today, and I'm actually going to pass it off to Eric, unless if there's any other community partners that want to speak in terms of any updates. I'll leave the room for rest for a minute before I pass it off to Eric for our webinar. Okay. Nice little period of silence here. I see that, we can hold for applause. You can also hold for people jumping into. But given the silence, I see that I'm just going to pass it to Eric, who's going to walk through our wonderful government programs with us. It can be confusing, but Eric's a great resource. Had a great personal call with him. He's a great handy guy, and I can't wait to let him share about some fun government programs to walk through. So you're now the host, Eric, and you can share your screen.
Sorry there. I could not unmute myself, so I will now share my screen. And so my name is Eric Holdijk. I work in the Smithers Constituency office for Taylor Bachrach. And today I am going to try and provide an overview of the major small business aid programs for you. And then I am also, in each of these programs, I'm going to try to give you a little tip that I've learned trying to help people navigate these programs to just make your time applying for them or trying to figure out who to talk to easier and faster. I will say off the top that I am not an expert on all the small business stuff. I have been the person in Taylor's office that has been trying to help small businesses through the pandemic and trying to understand the forest of acronyms that we currently live in, such as CERB, CEBA, CECRA, CEWS. So there's a lot of programs out there. A lot of people don't know where to start. And Janet, thank you very much for having me on. And Janet said that I should come on and try to help make sense of it all. So yeah, I'm going to go through the major small business programs, and then I will also just provide little tips and tricks, and I'm more than willing to answer questions about this after I'm done. But I am completely aware that I'm not an expert, so if I can't answer your question in that particular moment, I am more than happy to circle back with you later. My contact information will be at the end of all this, and I am more than happy to share some of the slides should you need to follow up on a number or website, because there will be a lot of numbers and websites on this slideshow. So yeah, just for an overview, Taylor has 3 offices. Well, one of them's here in Smithers, another's at Terrace, and Josh, who's also on this call, is the fellow that works in the Prince Rupert office. So if you phone any one of these offices, we will try to get you the help you need with any federal program. We are always here to try and assist constituents if they're having trouble. So the first benefit that I'm sure pretty much everyone in Canada has heard about this at this point is CERB. It's not really aimed at small business owners, but it is if you're self-employed and you find yourself without income, if it's related to COVID-19 or you're eligible for EI, and you've made $5,000 in the past month, you can get up to $500 a week for 24 weeks. I'm sure we're all aware of the Canada Emergency Response Benefit at this point. Here's a website. Their landing page has evolved over the years to kind of explain this program, or over the months, and it's gotten a lot better in kind of laying out who's eligible, who's not eligible. The CERB is an interesting program because you can apply through the CRA and EI, or Employment Social Development Canada. If you're applying through the CRA, I found that the CRA, if you're phoning one of the lines that is on the CRA's webpage, you will find that their wait times are extremely low. So that is a little tip. If you're having trouble phone the CRA's telephone lines, you're not going to be on hold for long. In the past, and Josh would probably know more about this than I do because he deals with a lot of EI, and basically, if you're trying to talk to an agent, it can sometimes take many, many hours to get on the phone with one. So the first tip I have is, if you are trying to get a hold of an EI agent, or someone you know is trying to get a hold of an EI agent, there is a form that seems to have better success than just sitting on hold forever. The form you can email in, you can say, I'm having a problem with this program, please get back to me. And we have heard anecdotally that they will get back to you. It might take them a day or two, but at least you're not sitting on hold for ever and ever and ever, and then getting disconnected. There is also the person who handles CERB specific problems in our offices is Adele in Terrace. So I've got the number at the bottom of the screen here, along with Adele's email. But she is your first point of contact if you're having an EI problem. That being said, if you call any of our offices, we'll be glad to help out and put you in touch with the right person. So in terms of more specific small business stuff, we've got the CEBA, which is the Canada Emergency Bank Account. This is the major loan program that the government's offering. And as you can see on the screen here, it's up to $40,000. It's interest-free until December 31st, 2022. 25% is forgiven, paid by that date. If the 75% is paid by that date. The key thing originally announced. On April 9th, you had to have, when it was first announced, you had to have 40,000 in 2019 payroll. That left a lot of folks out of this program, and it was a big problem with it. So they have since, as you can see on April 16th, they lowered it down to 20,000 in 2019 payroll. And then since May 19th, there's been no payroll limit. You can apply even if you don't have payroll, but you must have at least $40,000 in eligible non-deferrable expenses. So the key thing that I would emphasize for CEBA is if you didn't think you qualified at the beginning of this, you should check again, because CEBA has changed a lot and it's still not perfect, but it is much more liberal than it used to be. So check out CEBA for sure if you haven't checked it out in a while. And if you still find you're not eligible, try the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund. Eli from Community Futures will be talking about it afterwards. And I'm excited to listen to him talk about it more, because I know that someone walked into my office, said I was not eligible for CEBA. I don't know what I'm going to do. My business is going to go under. And I said, well, have you looked at this fund through the Community Futures Project? And they went away, they talked to Community Futures, and they came back and they were super excited because they got that CEBA style loan through this fund. So yeah, I should emphasize, it's a different program, but it's essentially the same loan. But I'm sure Eli will have much more details. If you are having problems with a CEBA application, you should first try to contact your bank, because it's done through them. It's not done through the government. And if you are still having problems with your CEBA application after you've talked to your bank and they're not helping you, you can contact me in the Smithers office. We can try to help you find someone within your bank to talk about your application with. And we have some resources to help folks kind of navigate any problems they might have with CEBA. Another major program is the Emergency Commercial Rent Assistance Program. This one is basically a tenant can get 75% off their rent. The sticking point here is that the landlord has to apply on behalf of the small business, and the tenant has to be noticeably impacted by COVID-19. So by impacted, at the bottom of the slides, you can see they have to have experienced 70% decline in pre-COVID-19 revenues. And it's a tricky one because the landlord will be paying, if your application is successful, the government will pay 50% of the tenant's rent, the tenant will pay 25%, and then the landlord will pay 25%. So right now, you can get this aid for your rent for April, May, and June. And obviously, we're at the end of June, but you can get, my understanding is you can get this out retroactively. And so my tip, it's not really a tip, but I mean, the application deadline is August 31st. If you haven't applied for this program yet, you still have pretty much a full 2 months to talk to your landlord, talk about this program and try to apply for it. And hopefully it will help you out. Here's the landing page. A common tip I'd say for all these programs is that the landing page has changed the landing pages for pretty much all the programs have changed a lot over time and have become a lot more informative as the programs have gotten more details with them. And so I would recommend, if you have any questions about this, you should go to this webpage, you should check it out. There are two help lines, two help phone lines at the bottom for this program. They're at the bottom of the landing page. I just confirmed this 20 minutes ago. Again, they have no wait times. If you have any questions, detailed questions about eligibility requirements or how to apply, you should check those phone lines out. You will be able to talk to a human very quickly. And I know that's a perennial problem these days, is long wait times on government lines. Again, my number is at the bottom of the slide here. If you have problems with the program, contact me. We'll try to help. Just at the very least, think it through with you and try to recommend another resource that might be able to help. Another big one is the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy, or the CEWS. This is another very kind of well-publicized program. I'm sure most of you know what it is. If you are eligible, you can receive 75% of an employee's weekly wage from the government, or $847 a week, whichever is less, from March 15th. So it recently was extended. It was going to end in June, this program, but it has now been extended to August 29th, 2020. And the key sticking requirement here, in order to be eligible, is you have to have a 15% revenue drop in March and a 30% drop in subsequent months. Here's the landing page. Again, this landing page has gotten much more detailed over the past couple months, so I recommend you just go there and check it out. These are all these landing pages are pretty easy. You just type in CEWS Canada, and it should pop up as one of the top Google search results. I've got two phone numbers here, one for specific application questions and one for general program questions. The key tip here is that, first off, both these lines, again, have 0 wait times. They're very easy to get in touch with people. I would say that some of these lines have a lot of, particularly the general program question lines of pretty much any government program, but something like CEWS is a good example. They'll have a robotic voice on there that continually talks about, basically gives you an overview of the entire program, and it can feel like you're never going to talk to someone. What I like to do is, when it sounds like they're just explaining a bunch of stuff to me and I don't need to listen to it anymore, I just hit 0, and usually that will boot you into the queue to wait for someone to talk to. So sometimes you can save like 15 minutes of listening to a robotic voice by just hitting 0 as soon as you can, or trying 0 multiple times, and eventually you should be able to get through to an agent. I've also found with the CEWS that sometimes the agents don't feel like they know the program that well. 99% of the agents I've talked to have been giving me great advice and helped me understand the program better. There has been, I think, one instance where an agent just gave me wrong information. So I'd always, maybe phone the line twice if you feel like the person that talked to you didn't fully understand your situation and wasn't giving you the best advice. There's another wage subsidy that's much less publicized. That's the temporary wage subsidy. Basically, it's an automatic wage subsidy, and if you're a small business even if you're not negatively impacted by COVID, my understanding is you can save up to 10% of your payroll remittances from March 18th to June 19th. And reading the page, which I've got at the bottom of the slide here, it sounds like you can automatically be able to apply for this. And if you don't claim the money by the end of the year, the CRA sounds like it's going to give you that money. and just carry it over into the next year. So I would double check that. But this is a program that if you're a small business, if you're eligible for the small business deduction on your T2, I think, you should be able to get this, and you should look into getting it because you can save a little bit of money right there. Again, go to the website, check it out. It's got an incredibly detailed frequently asked questions page. And just kind of wrapping up here, I mean, there's a couple websites I use to kind of keep track of what's going on. And if you've been in contact with my office before, and I've got you on my kind of informal business mailing list, I've shared a lot of these with you already. There's one from Small Business BC. It's got a lot of resources on there, but the best summary it has is called the COVID-19 Support Directory. So if you go to the website that I've got at the top there, and then look for the COVID-19 Support Directory, it's just a PDF that is, in my opinion, the best detailed summary of both provincial and federal aid in BC. Other people might have better ones, but I think this, in my experience, has been the best kind of great detailed summary of what's available, because of course, I'm only talking about federal aid right now, and I'm not even covering all the programs. And there's also provincial aid for businesses, and it's always worth checking that out. My next tip would be the best general hotline in my experience has been the folks over at the Canadian Business Resilience Network. So this was put on by the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. It was a hotline set up with a bunch of accountants on it. And that hotline has been fairly helpful in answering more detailed but general questions about what program should I apply for. I'm a restaurant in this situation. How can I get help? So that number is here on the slide. More than happy to share it with someone who can't see it. And then the best visual summary for those that want a more visual aid to both provincial and federal aid in BC is Bowen Ma's website, and I've got the website at the bottom there. It's got a bunch of neat little graphics. Both the Small Business BC and Bowen Ma's site are updated very regularly. If you are waiting for an aid program that has been announced but has no details attached to it, I am in the habit of checking this website at the top, canada.ca/news, basically. This is basically where all the Government of Canada press releases come out of or go out. And they are very useful for keeping track of when a new program is announced. Sometimes I find that you just go to CBC in the morning, you don't always see all the news that the government has announced. You only see what the news is particularly focused on for that day. This ensures if you cruise through the press releases each day, if you're waiting for the fish harvester benefit or another thing like that, you will see it when the government announces it. And my final tip is, if you need help, just give Taylor Smithers' office a call. I'm here Tuesday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I sometimes even answer the phone on Monday when I'm in the office, but not supposed to be answering the phone. So my number is 250-877-4140. And I am more than happy to assist in any way possible. So anyways, I've probably run over time, but I'm more than willing to take any questions and clarify anything that I might have not explained fully. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing these tips. There was surely so many hacks that need to be found, helped called some businesses to help with this program and been on the line forever. And honestly, these are amazing tips to go through. So if anyone has any questions, if you're helping businesses, if you are struggling with this as a business or just want some clarification, Eric is an amazing resource. So feel free to ask some questions right now or send him an email. This is a great time to just get things answered live. I'll give a few minutes. Okay, since I see that there is no pressing questions yet, but do not worry. I will be sharing these slides after after we go through all of this. I know that there was a lot of links, but honestly, if you have like a few times, if you have any questions, go on this, can search it out, click some links if you're interested. But honestly, if you're not sure, like again, please call Eric. Often I do. I'm like, so how do I go through this? He's a great resource. But also, a key tip is that Business Resiliency Network, which I'm going to throw that link down there, because if you have any accounting questions, CRA questions, they have 0 wait times. That's a hack for you guys to take a look at. I've tried it. They're great. You go through any personal T4 questions with them. They're very confidential, very professional. They're from EY. One of the big 4 accounting companies, and you're getting this service for free. So please check it out. We'll share that link below with you. But now I'm going to pass it off to Eli, who is going to share his screen on the RRRF program to talk about if you are not eligible for the CEBA program, how can Community Futures help you? So I'm going to give it off to you. I have made you host, Eli, so the floor is yours.
Hello. Okay. Do you guys see the screen okay? Oh, okay. Got a thumbs up. All right. So I'll just briefly go over the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund, RRRF. Some people call it RIF. I call it RUF. So I'm Eli with Community Futures. We're the main ones doing this program. So every office in the entire province, so there's a Community Futures in Terrace, there's a Community Futures in Smithers, all the way across every single rural area has one. We are doing it for the Pacific Northwest. Very typically, we are the Bank for Entrepreneurs. BDC kind of stole that one from us, but we're a very similar organization where we help small businesses get their businesses off the ground, expand, maintain, grow. Pretty much every single word in the book, we help them do it. And we can do that through advice, brainstorming, and of course, loans. And so it was a natural fit for these recovery loans to come to us as well, so we can really service our local community, which includes Prince Rupert, Port Ed, Macalla, Lac Williams, Kigala, Dutch Cove, Wind River, and Hartley Bay. So rough overall, it's very similar to CEBA in terms of what the terms are. So it is the exact same thing. First couple of years, the no payments and interest, and you can get up to 25% off or get 25% off by paying off 75% before the end of 2022. You don't have to take the full 40,000, but it's up to 40,000. And so the 25% will be based off whatever you take. So if you take 20, it would be 5,000, 40,000 is 10,000. And it gives people a chance to pay off a lot of expenses and other things that really kind of built up when they were negatively impacted by COVID-19. So as everyone knows, a lot of businesses are hurt. Pretty much everybody at some level was negatively impacted whether it was a small decrease in sales or a complete closure. And so the obligations continue to pile up while the revenue is hit. So some people need this to pay their utilities, insurance, payroll, maybe even just buying some new inventory to open up again, pretty much anything under the sun, besides paying for things that are already being serviced by other programs, such as the wage subsidy or rent relief. So you can't double dip, as they say, and you can't pay off debt. You can service regular monthly payments. So you can pay your $500 a month through this, but you can't pay off whatever loan or credit card that might be. So the main eligibility for us is that you are simply viable before March 1st, 2020. So we kind of help those who may fall through the cracks for the government program, because as the government program, you need certain things to do it, say $40,000 in expenses. So we can help people who are lower than that. Businesses who do not have their 2018 or 2019 taxes filed, we can help very young businesses as well. We can have people who just started up last year or even just a few months ago, anything like that. They can also apply to us. The only criteria, the main criteria we require is that they were viable as of March 1st, which means that they have to clearly show that COVID-19 is the entire reason why they are in dire straits at the moment. So there's a link on here, and there'll be another link in the next slide as well. When you go to that link, you'll be able to create an account and fill in the application and do everything for us to review. We get an automatic notification when someone joins the site, and then we get an automatic notification when someone completes a form. And so we can make a local decision by us local folks, and within a week or two at most, depending on what if we need any more information or not. So as I mentioned, we're a Community Futures office located here in Prince Rupert, and we are all longtime Prince Rupertites. And so we know the businesses that are applying to us. We know them firsthand. We can go down the street and see them, and we can have quick conversations through phone, email, or even seeing people face to face. When people apply for RRRF, they click on that link and they are brought to a site where they then apply and make an account. So first an account needs to be made. This is simply purely for the portal, and simply so people can save their progress. So you don't have to do it all in one go. You can save it and finish it later. You fill out all the information and provide the update on the impact COVID-19 has had for you. So you tell us who you are and what your need is and what the impact has been. And you have to give us financial information such as your revenue and bank infos, which includes uploading various documents. So we require documents such as financial statements, if you have them, a cash flow statement, profit loss statement, in-house stuff if you got them. You can even have just the last few months of bank statements. So pretty much as much information as you can provide and upload, we would love. As I mentioned, there's a number of options here to really help a number of types of businesses. Some people might not have some of these. And so if you're not able to provide that, then we simply need some information. So like I said, we can get in touch with people quickly. So if we ever require any further information, or we have some questions regarding any of the documents that are submitted to us, we can talk to them and get it sorted out and make that direct connection. So once all this is all done, and let's say they look good, it's a good business, it was viable, it was strong, COVID-19 hurt the business, so they need some money to get ahead and recover, so they're ready to go. And it's simply we sign off on an agreement and you're good to go, and all the terms apply immediately. So all the terms mentioned before go into effect. We highly recommend that even if someone is not able to pay 75% of it to get the 25% off, we recommend people do put some money down towards this as soon as they are able to. Everyone's timing will be different, but any little bit counts, so that when it does turn into a regular term loan in 2023, after the no interest, no payment period, when it turns into a regular loan, you're not left with a large balance that you have to pay off from there. So anything that people are able to do because there's no interest. It's the perfect time to knock down the principal. And if you do well enough, then you got 25% off. But even if you don't get the full amount, at least you have a smaller balance to deal with later on. So you're not squeezed in a few years from now. That is essentially the gist of it. So the link was there. I can put the link in the chat if it hasn't been there already. And so anyone who wants to apply, or anyone who knows anyone who needs some help and who maybe wasn't eligible for CEBA or wants to go with us instead, it is actually people's choice. I highly recommend they come and talk to us, because as I mentioned, it doesn't have to be up to 40,000. Some people might be intimidated by that amount. Any amount is good, if just whatever you need to get your business going. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Eli, for just going through that with us and walking through this great program, which is for young upcoming businesses, as you don't just need the formal documentation that CEBA requires, but instead you can even give 3 months of your bank statement. So yeah, please check it out. The link is right there. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to speak to Eli. Again, I'm going to send the slides at the end of this meeting, so you guys have it on you. Thanks, Eli, for airing that. And now I'm going to pass it off to Curtis and Allison to talk about their app that we have as a chamber are having a partnership with. So go ahead, Allison, Curtis, to take it away.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks for having us. I'm Allison, obviously. This is Curtis.
Hi.
We're the local Get in the Loop franchise owners in Prince Rupert, and we are part of the Get in the Loop North Coast, so that's also Kitimat and Terrace as well. But we're starting out in Rupert just to, start out here and then expand from there. So basically what Get in the Loop is a mobile marketing platform to connect local consumers with our local businesses. And we use our free app and promotion through social media, as well as push notifications, and then local events as well, once that kind of gets going again, just to basically promote what our local businesses have to offer. We can help businesses just be more visible in our community to locals as well as tourists, show people social distancing measures that are in place to encourage people to get out more and just to shop, showcase current offerings, events, discounts and sales, but it doesn't always have to be discounts as well. It can just be things that are offered or weekly specials, that kind of thing. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think you covered it.
We're also just, increasing visibility to tourists and people from out of town. When we moved here about 1.5 years ago, we found that we didn't know what was going on all the time. Like it was difficult as kind of outsiders to know what was going on. So we think that it's a great way just to be more visible and just help get the word out about what Prince Rupert has to offer. So we encourage everybody to, anybody who's interested to reach out to us. We're available all the time as local owners. So feel free to contact us anytime. We've been working through like social media just to promote local businesses who we have on the app currently. We have over 20 businesses now, so that's great. Just showcasing what people are offering through social media. And even if people aren't partnering with us, we are trying to just get the word out about everything here.
Yeah, for sure. And during the pandemic, we've been offering our service essentially for free. So we're very flexible on the way that we're pricing it. And there'll be a special offer for chamber members as well, as we continue to forge a solid partnership with the Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's been a great way for people just to ease into it, find out what we're all about, try it out, see if it's a good fit. They say that digital media usage has increased a ton with COVID. So, I mean, it's a great time to start thinking about branching out in different directions, ways to get just to get your business out to people, yeah, from town and from surrounding areas.
100%. Yeah, we're here to help in any way we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, does anybody have any questions for us? Or I know there's going to be the webinar coming up, so that's a great way to introduce some more info. And yeah, we're
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're really excited. Pass it back off to Janet now.
Thank you, Allison and Curtis. Honestly, I love their app. I still use it, so I'm just saying it from like a personal perspective. Like, you open that app, all the discounts from your local businesses are right there. They're getting a lot of cool partnerships. You just zoom. Oh wow, like a discount here. I can redeem. You just go into that store. Of course, social distancing, of course, and then you get the discount. You're like, wow, and it's free for now. So I'm saying that if you want to pop down your contact info, Allison or Curtis, on how they can get in the loop, how they can learn more about it, please do on the chat right there. But they're also having a nice webinar next week on Monday where we're talking about digital marketing and the importance of it. So if you would like to also send to your contacts as well as learn more about e-marketing for about like 20-30 minutes, jump on in. We're here to help and provide you great tools and equipment to support you. So yeah, thank you so much for your time and jumping in, Allison and Curtis. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate what you're doing. They're a local face to help a local buy. And honestly, please just download the app, even if you're curious. So I also do want to forward a quick question from Di, knowing that he has asked about the CEBA program, and asked what it means by 25% forgivable. And he also asked about how do you measure the eligibility of the sole proprietorship. I just want to forward that to Eric since he just came back on video on how he would like to answer it. I know that Eli has stated some things on the chat box in terms of how it looks like in terms of forgivable, but if you want to add a little bit more, I do want to give that to you, Eric, in terms of how you want to touch base with that question.
Yeah, I mean, I might touch base with you more offline, Doug, because I think I have your email, but yeah, I mean, Eli's got the answer, I think, to your CEBA question, which is pay $30,000 to get the remaining $10,000 off. So if you pay 75% of what you loan through CEBA by December 31st, 2022, then you should get the remaining 25% off, which is why a lot of people have been very keen to get access to this program because you can, that seems like a pretty good deal, right? You can basically come out with a bit of money if you can pay everything off on time. In terms of CERB, how do you measure eligibility of a sole proprietor? Is it based on monthly net income? So I'm not the CERB guy, but I'll just read from the website here. You have to be residing in Canada and at least 15 years old. And you have to have stopped, you basically have to have lost income for reasons related to COVID-19. And you must, and this is the key one for many sole proprietors, is you have to have at least made $5,000 in 2019 or in the 12 months prior to the date of their application. So if you're applying for CERB now, in the past 12 months, you would have had to have made $5,000 through your business. And if you didn't make that $5,000, then you're not eligible because they don't consider you they don't consider you to have made any money or enough money to be worth compensating you for your loss of income. And yeah, that $5,000 mark seems to be the most relevant thing for CERB for sole proprietors. And yeah, hopefully that gives you some sense of whether you're able to apply or not. But I'm more than happy to follow up offline or via email. Yeah, does that answer your question, Di? Great. Sounds good. I will look forward to your email. More than happy to help.
Thank you so much for all your time, Eric and Eli and Allison and Curtis today in terms of just walking through just what the tools that you have. You know, we're a community, we're a little like community family here to help and happy to just provide the space to. I also appreciate you, Di. Thank you so much for just coming on here and just asking these questions, because many other people probably have those questions too. I really liked how innovative you've been in terms of adapting in this time and how you've been always just sharing in our chats. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone else, for just joining on. I do appreciate your time. And if you have any questions or at all, feel free to email me. Happy to help in any way. We're doing a fun little e-commerce digital marketing webinar next week to give a hand to the businesses or people who are just interested in learning more about this. But anywho, have a wonderful rest of your day, and yeah, see you soon. Bye now.
Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Great day.
guys. Take care.
Thanks, Janet, for organizing this.
Thank you so much for coming. You were so helpful. Also, shout out to Josh. I'm so sorry, so super late in this, but Josh, you're a great help too. Thanks for joining in. You're probably listening to this, but you are a great resource too. And I didn't get your specialty. But I'm pretty sure you do have one. You're a great generalist, because I just call you and you just like forward me to great places. So shout out to Josh too.
No problem. I'm the hype guy for Eric.
Awesome. You know what? Keep on hyping it up. But I think you're great too, Josh. You led to this great connection and this wonderful webinar, and it's all because of you. Thought you should know that.
Thanks. All right. See you guys later.
Bye. Thank you.